Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Ozone BX. Thank you for checking out the Ozone Gaming channel. I usually don't do movie reviews. I'll probably start doing more of these in the future. I had to do this because Coming to America 1 is my favorite movie of all time. I still have it on VHS. I have like two tapes that I actually recorded it on when it used to come on TV. Because I like record it, lose it, tape, and then have to record it again. Bought the DVDs when they came out and stuff like that. And my top two movies I say is Coming to America and then Beetlejuice. And coming in at number two, I'll do a top five or something like that later for the channel. But I've seen a lot of people were giving the movie flack. I'm not sure if I'm gonna call this a review as much as it is my thoughts on the movie. If I were gonna rate the movie, I would give the movie an 8 out of 10. You know, think about the age difference between the two movies. Like it's like a long time. Like that's a long time to make a sequel. Everybody's gotten older, times have changed. Can't say the same. Certain types of jokes wouldn't go over. Nowadays. And but I thought they did a good job of sliding in the type of offensive jokes, but at the same time covering it up. Even though I'm not with the whole cancel culture thing, as far as just firing people over what they say and stuff like that. I do believe in disciplining people, when they go too far. But as far as like canceling and messing up their whole life, I'm not with that. But I've been checking out my Facebook feed, and I've seen, I'd say the reviews, my friends and family members, they've just been saying, "Oh, it was all right" or stuff like that. I wouldn't say it was all right. I would say it was a pretty good movie. It was basically uh, even though Coming to America came out first, it was like a comedy version of Black Panther. That's my feel. That's the takeaway I got from the movie. And one thing that Eddie Murphy is able to do, he did it in Harlem Nights, he did it in Coming to America, and he did it in Coming to America, the sequel. He's able to get a huge cast of talented actors and actresses together to, in one movie. Think about all the talent you got in this movie. Arsenio Hall, James Earl Jones, man, the guest appearances from Rick Ross in there. I thought Tiana Taylor did a great job. You got Wesley Snipes. Although Tiana Taylor, I wish that she would have had more speaking lines. I understood why she didn't have more because she was kind of playing the same type of role that her predecessor played in the first Coming to America. The first bride to be. She was kind of going down that path, but I thought she fit the role perfectly. Wesley Snipes' son, they could have. I think they could have did a better job casting him. But I think that guy's from Empire or something like that. I don't watch the show. I just seen him around and do interviews and stuff like that. But I know I ran across a page that was saying that they were saying that the movie turned into some type of feminist, watered down feminist version. I didn't get that from the movie. I'm assuming whoever made it, just like a group that I followed, and a few people made these types of remarks. I'm going to assume that these people, not to get on anybody's political views, but I'm going to assume that these people don't have daughters because if you have daughters and stuff like that, you understand the struggle between, hey, like leaving your daughter, like what are you going to leave your daughter, with, because your daughter is your legacy too. Even though your son is your namesake and stuff like that. Just like with my daughter, me and her have a lot in common, and like certain video games, like me and her like Zelda a lot. My son doesn't too much care for it, so I'm not, when I pass away, I'm not going to give him my Zelda collection. I'm going to give her my Zelda collection. I understand this is small potatoes as far as like what you leave behind to your kids, but it's not too many people. Like I'm not a king or a prince or nothing like that. I'm not leaving behind a whole kingdom to somebody. But if I did have like an entire kingdom to leave behind, if I felt like that my daughter would be better, leader out of the bunch, I don't think I wouldn't have an issue giving it to her. I wouldn't have an issue giving her that responsibility. But I understand, people trying to keep her to tradition and stuff like that. I thought that the storyline was great. I like the storyline of him having a one night stand while he was in New York and end up having some type of side kid, and the person who had the most weight on his shoulders, I'm going to say the person who played Eddie Murphy's son. I'm not. I can't remember the actor's name, but because I just watched the movie, so I haven't like looked at the credits and looked at Wikipedia and stuff like that. I think this is the first time I've seen him in a role, and he did an excellent job. He was the person that was under pressure. Eddie Murphy's already going down as top three comic of all time, or top two, depending on what age you are and stuff like that. Everybody else, it just seemed like a big family reunion. But the guy who played, Eddie Murphy's son in the movie, I'm pretty sure he's like, hey, I gotta nail this so I can get future roles. So basically, his career was probably on the line. If the movie was gonna bomb, it would bomb because it would have bombed because of him. Everything else, like all these cameos we had, all the nostalgia, appearances from like the barbershop scene that we had, like those, that stuff was a gimme. Like you seen it coming, but when you saw it and how they put it together, I felt like it was good. And another thing that people are talking about, another thing that I noticed that people aren't talking about is the simple fact that everybody's not in the movies now. Everybody watched this from home pretty much. I feel like if this would have came out in the theaters and people would have, spent their money and had the whole experience like we had with, I'm not saying it would have been on a Black Panther's level of success, but I felt like, you would have seen people getting dressed up to go see the movie. You would have, in their African garbs and stuff like that. And I felt like that probably would have helped out with people's opinions, because once you get a few people saying something is all right or that something's bad, you get a lot of bandwagon people that'll just jump in and say, "Yeah, it was all right. I didn't like it." Um, and for the people who were trying to get the same experience that they got, 25 plus years ago when the original movie came out, that's just not going to happen. It's impossible to, like, say you got an artist who makes a album that you really like, and then the artist comes out, with another album 10 years, 20 years down the road. You're not going to get the same feeling because, number one, you're not the same person. Number two, it's a different time, and you're not giving the movie a fair chance by even comparing it to the original. And the movie's only been out a few days. Give your opinion about that. 5, 6 years down the line after you've watched the movie a few times. What I always like to say is, if they're bringing back stuff that you used to like say if they brought Family Matters back, I would say Family Matters would be something that you sit down and watch with your family. So like if you don't have a family, if you're just some, single guy or single woman sitting in the house, you might not, say you're in your 30s or something like that, and you watch this stuff as a kid growing up, but it doesn't give you the same feeling as it does now. I would go out on a stretch and say that this stuff being made is not for you, or at least not for you to enjoy by yourself. It's for you to enjoy or introduce to your kids. So like I watched Coming to America when I was, younger a lot. Like I said, it was my favorite movie. I'm gonna sit down and watch this with my kids because I feel like, them doing the PG-13 rating is I went through it enough. It's probably like one scene I'll skip past, but for the most part I'll let them watch, the rest of it. And an example that I'll give you is like let's say Breath of the Wild Zelda. Zelda's one of my favorite games. I'm not gonna expect to get the same feeling out of Breath of the Wild that I got from like Ocarina of Time or Link to the Past. So when Breath of the Wild came out, I'm like, oh, all right, this would be a good game to, probably like play with my kids and stuff like that, so they can, get a good gaming experience. And two of my kids end up loving the game, and they play it to this day. My daughter loves Breath of the Wild. It actually turned her on to like Zelda. So she asks for the Zelda games. She's getting the handheld games and playing them. And so I would say this stuff is for a younger generation of people to enjoy. People in their, early 20s, late teens, mid teens, even a little bit younger than that. This is for them. It's something that we can watch and enjoy with them, but you can't expect to get like the same feeling that you got, 25, 27 plus years ago when the movie first came out. I think that's just, unrealistic expectations. But yeah, like I said, I give the movie an 8 out of 10. Check the movie out. I would say, watch it twice. Watch it by yourself, and watch it with your family if you feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable like letting your kids, watch this type of comedy. But I felt like they watered it down enough to the point where I don't have a problem with my kids watching it. I put it on the projector. I do have one complaint about the movie. I mean, it was a little bit dark, certain scenes, like on my projector, but I'm not sure if that was just my projector or the settings from my device that I was watching it from. I'm gonna watch it a few more times and try to adjust some settings to see if I can get get the the brightness and the contrast and stuff mixed in a little bit better. But I hadn't had that problem with any other movies on there from like Netflix or Prime. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna say you know pretty good movie. And I know it's probably this isn't a review, but I will say what I didn't like about the movie. As far as actresses, the lady who played the baby mama, I think her name's Simone or something like that. I'm not a fan of hers. I would have preferred, somebody. She's kind of like too loud and tries. She it seems like she tries to be, funny rather than just coming off naturally as a funny person. You know, of I think the lady who played Felicia from Friday, she probably would have been a better, choice or something like that. But I know certain people are fans of hers, but that was one of the characters in the movie that I felt like came off as awkward, as far as the humor and stuff like that. It felt forced, and that's usually what I take. Even when she does stand up, I feel like a lot of her jokes are forced, and the timing is just a little bit off for me. But more power to her. I'm glad she got the role because I think she was in Ghostbusters too, the all female cast of Ghostbusters. I I'm not gonna judge put judgment on that movie because I haven't watched that, but yeah, so thanks for checking it out. Y'all make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. Peace out.